Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate are in big trouble right now. I think they're behind bars and in cuffs as we speak. Well, maybe not in cuffs, because, you know, that would be a little extreme if they're already behind bars. But you know what I mean. They're in trouble. All of their crimes have caught up with them, from sexually exploiting children, to sex trafficking, to exploiting for money. Like, there's just a lot of exploitation. Physical abuse, rape, all the things. All the bad things. The Tates did it. They bragged about it, and they didn't just brag about it. Like, bragging about a crime you've committed is not that unique among horrific criminals, but charging people to take classes that you teach in order to teach them how to commit the crime that you're bragging about having committed, that's a level of audacity I don't think has ever been reached before. Maybe ever. I hate to give the Tates credit for anything, but they might be the first to be that stupid. So they're in deep shit right now. No secret. We all know this. But as this happens, people have been doing a little bit of digging on the Tates, and notably, somebody very close to them, a manager, something like that, just exposed them for having a lot less money than they fronted as having. I'm talking their Bugatti collection, rented. I'm talking their properties they claim to own, rented. Many things taken out on loans, rented with money taken out on loans. Like, it turns out the Tates were nowhere near as liquid as we thought they were. And a lot of what they had, they've got debt. And on top of that, a lot of what they supposedly owned, they can't sell it in order to pay the debt off, because the debt they have is from renting all this crazy shit in order to look rich. This is shocking, shocking behavior. Yeah, so now it's not just criminal charges that the Tates are facing, but even if they somehow, by some anti-miracle, get away with all of that, they face full-on financial ruination. They're done. Yes, their hairlines are also rented. Those will be restoring themselves to their normal state very soon. Anyway, folks, we've got a video here that breaks down all of the new info that we've gotten, so I thought we'd dive right on in. People wanted me to cover this, so I shall cover it. Here we go. Poser's gonna pose.
His favorite alpha male, Andrew Tate, and his brother Tristan Tate have just been exposed for lying about their wealth. Not really that big of a surprise, because if you really look at how they make their money, the only thing you can really think of is it had to have come from their little alpha male, how to be a red pill man course that they were always selling. But yeah, it just...
I will say, it didn't ever really make sense to me that the Tates could be as wealthy as they seem to be unless they had a lot of money coming from other outlets that weren't their online platforms. Because, don't get me wrong, even at Andrew Tate's peak, he was big enough to make a lot of money through streaming and content creation, but I mean, you don't become a multi-millionaire within a year as a popular streamer. Like, that takes a good few years of consistent growth and popularity to build, like, millions of dollars in your savings, much less to be able to have mansions and a fleet of Bugattis. Like, if you actually know the cumulative value of the things he was flexing, there's just no way that even a content creator as successful as him could buy all that stuff on the type of money he would have been making.
Got exposed in the court case that the Tates, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate, are fighting. It just got exposed by their own lawyer, by the way, that both of their Bugattis are completely fake. You can see this tweet right here.
It was their lawyer, not their manager. My bad.
Here from Fearbuck on Twitter. Andrew Tate's Bugatti and Aston Martin were reportedly rented, according to recent court filings from the Tate's lawyers in their U.S. case. Why is this important? Well, it's because most of the Tate's online persona is telling everybody that they are rich. They are rich, successful, good-looking men who are able to get women, who are in fantastic shape, and they're alpha males, right? That was their entire appeal. But now that time has gone on and they're facing like charges from like 3 different countries. Now,
like, to be clear, the Tate brothers were LARPing as like Saudi royalty level wealthy. Their income streams, like, looking back at it, this makes a lot of sense, because nothing about what they did should have made them that kind of money. Of course they were faking it, faking their success. Like they were flaunting like they had genuine, like, Saudi royal family levels of wealth.
Now the truth is starting to come out, and it turns out they weren't the rich, amazing alpha males that you always thought. At the end of the day, they were just fake online internet grifters, like most of these guys always turn out to be, right? So let's go ahead. Here is the court case right here. So this is the actual filing, and you can see right here, it says here, further, the Tates are engaged in several businesses teaching men how to earn money. It is in their interest to portray themselves on social media as uber wealthy. For example, the 2.1 million Aston Martin and 5 and 7 million Bugattis featured in Tristan's videos were rented. Now, everybody's running with this and talking about how crazy it is, and I do agree it is crazy. And I'm not going to lie to you, I strongly believe that their Bugattis and their cars and their watches and all of that stuff was rented. I believe.
My favorite example of the Tates being exposed was Andrew Tate getting exposed for his fake guns. Who remembers that? When the Tate brothers would always have these displays of firearms up in the background. And now, it's pretty hard to spot a fake gun if it's deliberately designed to look as close to a real one as possible, especially if it's mounted up in the background of like a stream. It's pretty hard to figure that out. But there was one guy. This guy was an airsoft YouTuber who identified one of the guns up on display on Andrew Tate's wall. And many people would see it and probably just assume it was like a custom lower on a Glock, maybe. Like just some custom lower. But he recognized it very specifically, not as being some custom lower for a real Glock, but as being a known airsoft pistol that looks a lot like a real handgun, but it's airsoft. So he brings up the listing, he puts the screenshot and the listing side by side, and it is undeniable. Notably, on the grip, at the bottom of the grip where your palm might go, it's got a series of hexagons and a circle that are white on the black background of the rest of the lower and the grip. And it's an unmistakable design. Like, you see them side by side and it's immediately, oh shit, that's an airsoft gun. Now, the reason that's important is because we can probably safely assume most, if not all, of the rest of those guns he has on display are also airsoft guns. Thing about it is, airsoft guns, typically way cheaper than real guns, and on top of that, they often look near identical at a distance to their real firearm counterpart. And if you, like, take off the orange bit, which I think is what he did, then most people wouldn't be able to tell. But yeah, that was the first time I ever saw the Tates get exposed for their just everything being fake.
That 1,000,000%. However, there is a counter argument to this that I do want to point out. There are some people online that are saying that it's very possible that their lawyer is only saying this because he's trying to accurately defend them and fight the case. Because remember, the prosecutors are...
Oh, did I say Nerf? Sorry, I meant airsoft. We were talking about Nerf earlier. Sorry, not Nerf. Airsoft. Big distinction.
Are trying to say that Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate were engaged in human trafficking, right? What the lawyer, and this is what people are saying, this is the pushback, right? What the counter argument is, the lawyer is trying to say, hey, they couldn't have been traffickers because they don't even have money. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like they're playing a little bit of a game here. That's what people are saying. I don't believe that to be true. I would 1,000,000% believe that the cars are rented, but people could believe whatever they want. And now we do have to bring up some of the tweets and some of the history of Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate.
You gotta say, that's pretty funny. That the Tate's lawyer, their go-to defense is, the Tates are broke, so how could they have been sex traffickers? That is hilarious. Like, what a pathetic, desperate defense. And how, like, self-deprecating of a defense as well, when you think about it.
Because it is really funny. It really is. Because if you remember this video right here, Andrew Tate did videos with all these different fitness influencers. One of them in this video in particular, I believe this one's name is Mike Thurston. I think that's his name. But you just see Andrew Tate bragging about his Bugatti and getting out of his Bugatti. As a matter of fact, I think that's actually the Aston Martin. That might not be the Bugatti, but I don't know. I don't know much about cars. What do I know? I drive a freaking Hyundai. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and play this video.
I like the color.
You like the color?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had mixed reviews on the color. Some people said they like it, some people said they don't like it, and I said, well, what color is your Bugatti? Oh,
There's the meme.
Then.
So obviously that's one of his most famous
I remember, like, for a year or so, anytime you criticized Andrew Tate, including for being a pedophile, the immediate response from his fans would be, what color is your Bugatti? Because Andrew Tate has a Bugatti, and you don't. Which means Andrew Tate can do no wrong. Because, you know, as we all know, God only rewards good people with the blessing of wealth. This is just basic logic. You know, it's common sense, as Asmongold would say.
most famous clips. Everybody, multiple YouTubers have played this over and over again. Like, oh, people are talking about the color of my Bugatti. Well, what color is your Bugatti? You don't have a Bugatti. Well, Andrew Tate, it turns out that you also didn't have a Bugatti. That Bugatti, that car right there is rented. And it makes perfect sense because I don't know if you guys know this, but Bugattis are like multi-million.
Okay, but buying a car... Buying a car that is millions of dollars is not something that millionaires do. It's something that, like, really high level 10 millionaires do, like people who've got like 80 or 90 million in assets, or people who are well into the hundreds of millions in wealth, or billionaires. Like, having a Bugatti, getting a $1 million car is not... Like, that is not, or I guess a Bugatti, I don't know if that's $1 million car, but the Aston Martin, I think, is. Getting a $1 million car is not something that anybody does unless they are really wealthy. Cars are a terrible investment. Like, a really bad investment. Even supercars. Even when a celebrity, multiple celebrities have owned said supercar, it's going to slowly decrease in value as it changes hands, and eventually it will go from being changed hands among celebrities to being exchanged among just normal, not famous, wealthy people, and then eventually it'll end up just at a car show or something. Like, you can... I'm sure if some of you guys know cars, I don't even know cars that well, but I have a general idea of the life cycle of these supercars, and they just aren't an investment. They are not an investment, and every celebrity who's treated them as such has suffered consequences for doing so. I think Nicolas Cage burned like a ton of his money back in the day on supercars, went into a ton of debt, and then to pay it off, he had to start like taking every movie he was offered, which is why he did so many wacky movies and had so many ridiculous roles. But then even after making his wealth back, he kind of liked doing that, and he liked that, you know, he could star in just some new up-and-coming filmmaker's movie, and if it's good, then they, you know, his name being attached to it could get it the recognition necessary to launch their career. Like, Nicolas Cage just continues to do that, mostly because he's just a nice guy. But yeah, a lot of celebrities have made that mistake, but just trust me on this. Cars are not an investment. Don't buy a car thinking it's going to be an investment. It's pretty much guaranteed to be worth less when you sell it than when you bought it.
Dollar cars, okay? These guys are not that rich, okay? Like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, guys like that.
Those guys will have cars like this. That's the level of wealth that own cars that are in the millions of dollars, because you're burning millions when you buy a car for that much money. You're burning it, basically.
It makes perfect sense. Somebody in business, you would expect them to have a car like this because it makes sense. They have that kind of money. But like, how do these guys make money? Has anybody ever asked that question? How the heck are the Tates making money? Because I can tell you right here, I have asked numerous times, where are they getting this money from? I didn't know if they were doing some sort of crypto grifts, crypto scams. I don't know if they were doing that online e-girl stuff that they used to do that they're allegedly were trafficking the women in, as they say. I don't know. I really don't know. But one thing I can say is that I knew that these guys weren't rich, okay? I just knew. I'm like, there's no way. Because, like, how are you making money? Like, these guys aren't even monetizing their views because they weren't even on YouTube, because they're so controversial, they would immediately get demonetized. So the main platform that they would even stream on is Rumble, and there's no money on there. Trust me, I know. I thought...
It's a lot of bots. Like, even when you see the chats on Rumble with, like, tens of thousands of viewers in a fast-moving chat... You know, there's a reason why half the messages, if not more, are W or L. It's bots. Like Rumble and I think it's Rumble and Kick, like are like tied to the same. I think they all have connections to Drake and his gambling website Stake, because I know that Stake sponsors Kick at least. I think they have connections with Rumble, which was like the big thing before Kick. Rumble was like the Kick of Andrew Tate's era when he was at his peak popularity a few years ago. But yeah, there's no money on these alternative streaming platforms, even though they front like they have, like there is opportunity there. But it's just bots. It's just gambling money paying for bots that are making it look like these platforms are successful and the people on them are successful.
About possibly posting content on Rumble till I saw the payouts. I'm like, oh no, I'm sticking with YouTube. Rumble is horrible. Let me pull for you guys another tweet that is absolutely hilarious. I don't know if you guys remember.
I remember this.
This happened like a year ago. This took place with Mr. Where's Your Bugatti and Greta Thunberg. This happened like 3-4 years ago at this point. This was like 2022, I believe. But if you remember, I forgot what happened. Greta Thunberg went viral for something, and Andrew Tate randomly tweeted at her. And by the way, this was right before they got arrested that first time, by the way, when they got arrested in Romania. Remember that whole thing? So
I think it was the same day.
Andrew Tate said, hello, Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has a blah, 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 quad turbo. My 2 Ferraris, blah, 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 blah. This is just the start. Please provide your email address.
Man, how did I not pick up on the fact this dude was unironically claiming to own 33 cars in the $400,000 to $1.2 million price range? That no doubt he's trying to claim are brand new purchases, not secondhand or third hand or whatever pre-owned buys. Like that immediately should not have passed my smell test now that I think about it.
So I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions. Greta Thunberg responds and says, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldenergy@getalife.com. Not going to lie to you guys. Greta Thunberg's tweet, aged like fine wine. Andrew Tate's tweet, aged like milk. By the way, did anybody ever believe that this guy has 33 cars? 33 cars? Like, what are you doing? Selling drugs? Like, what could you?
I mean, that right there would be evidence that he was engaging in some like multinational trafficking ring right there. If he's got 33 cars money. I don't know if like the first 3 are supercars, but then it's all just junkers maybe. But I don't think that's what's implied.
As an internet influencer who's not even on YouTube, by the way, because YouTube's where all the money is for those who don't know. That's why I'm on here. Like, this is where the money is. Like, YouTube pays so much better than all the other platforms. TikTok, Instagram.
YouTube's got its problems, but yeah, they've somehow managed to secure a pretty consistently high compared to every other platform, consistent like payout to creators. It gets worse over time, but like every other platform is worse.
Rumble, whatever. YouTube is the king. It just is. It is what it is. And I knew from the beginning, because this guy wasn't even on YouTube. I'm like, there's no way this guy's making all this money. Now, had he been on YouTube and he had a full monetized channel, it might be possible. Because a guy with his level of fame and popularity, if he was a full-time YouTuber just making his little stupid videos, he easily could have made like millions and millions of dollars on YouTube with the sponsorships and selling merch and all that. But he didn't do that because he was so controversial. And I don't really know what they had going on. I also want to show this right here. I'm going to mute this because he plays a very bad song. We're not playing that song, okay? But what we are going to do is we're going to show another video. And by the way, this is just so corny. Andrew Tate would like have his brother or whoever filming these corny videos of him walking into his Bugatti that we all now know was completely rented, by the way. So yeah, you can clearly see it. By the way, it's a very nice car. That is a nice car. I don't know where he rented it from.
The paint
I don't know
job.
where he got it. Probably some
metallic
rich guy
flake
in Dubai or something. I don't know, but that is a nice car. I got to give him that. That is a very, very nice fancy car. But yeah, this video is just corny. You can see.
It looks like it's supposed to be copper colored with like the metallic flake finishing coat that gives it that like really weird like shine. You know, I don't know how else to describe it. It almost makes the car look 3D in a way that where it's not 3D, where it's flat.
See whoever's filming him They're doing the whole 360, going around the car. They're filming him drive off, all that stuff. He's pretending
Nice rental,
he's
bro.
this rich millionaire, alpha male. But it turns out that the car was actually rented. So yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. Had to report on it. How could I not, right? So
yeah, just you guys got to remember, everything you see on the internet is fake. Believe none of it, and you'll be happier. You'll have a much more, you'll have a life filled with more truth and less lies. Anyway, folks, if you liked this video, then consider leaving a like, subscribe and ring the bell icon, and comment down below. It really does help a lot, and I appreciate it. And I hope to see you again in the next one. Thanks for watching.